What's going on, gamers? We got a video to talk about here regarding the Xbox CEO and just in general how when she says something, the Microsoft team has already put things in place with the vision that they want. And it's pretty obvious, and we've been talking about this for a while. That's why AGN has to keep going and basically hammering this flip-flopping and pretty much, you could say, lying or brainwashing, cultism, fanaticism, whatever you want to say, but just kind of like talking but and saying I hear you, but the results are always the exact opposite. And this is something that's always been a problem in the Xbox world, like big time since Xbox One era. Right here was a perfect example. Yesterday, Microsoft announces Grounded 2 for PlayStation 5, coming August 11th from Xbox Game Studios. And as we see, it's, remember what they said about the logo? It doesn't matter though. Here it is. It's right here, and they're not going to say only on Xbox, right? Just so you could just see Xbox, but then later on, people on Twitter are like, oh, it's coming to Steam and it's coming to PlayStation, because Sony does that. They did it in their State of Play. Nintendo is doing that as well because they want to advertise it for their console because they believe their console has the install base and will continue to grow and sell millions and millions more yearly, and their software is going to move their hardware. Whereas Microsoft knows that they're not in that position. They're not going to just play that game. So what they're going to do is they're going to advertise Steam and PS5. And I know a lot of people said that if you make it a Xbox exclusive, you're not including PlayStation 5. And I've already told people about this before, that in order to be a true exclusive, Steam needs to be erased too. It would be invisible, PS5 would be invisible, and it would say Grounded 2, Xbox only, and Xbox Game Pass, and Xbox on PC. Because then you're doing Xbox app, kind of like how Steam has its app, and it started dominating PC. Why do you think Microsoft was trying to make their app way better? Because if not, you're just advertising on Steam. You see what I mean? So to me, to be an Xbox exclusive, it needs to be only on Xbox. But Xbox app on PC is still Xbox. But it just wouldn't be only on the Xbox consoles. Now, if you want it only on the Xbox consoles, to move the hardware, they'll be playing that game. But it's quite evident, no matter what that CEO says, and I want you to hear me, right? Give me a hear you. This is going to keep popping up. And that's why I said that every game that has now been developed, which is their biggest games, years, watch, it's going to say PS5. Halo, no multiplayer though. Forza, the only game that just wasn't ready, so but that's coming to PlayStation. We already know that, right? It's not play games here. It's like, dude, Call of Duty. Now Call of Duty's coming to Switch too. That locked in a 10-year contract. But I never looked at it as a true Xbox exclusive. That was a monopoly. But even then, you got that, but it's all coming. You thought Starfield was going to stay there, but what did that do? See, they tried that. It didn't work. Starfield eventually came, but it came too late. But let's talk about this year. The games that we know that are coming out this year. Fable, though, it got delayed. But guess what? Fable is coming day one on PlayStation 5. We saw the drama with that. So where do you see any hint of exclusivity, like when it's like, this is actually happening? The closest thing you ever got was Forza, but that had to be on PC because it was going to sell millions on PC. And the Europeans are base in or PC gaming is massive. You're going to get millions of sales on there. So Microsoft knew they couldn't do that, and then they can launch it on PlayStation 5, probably in this game showcase tomorrow. They might announce that when it's coming out, or it may be a stealth drop. You never know. They're going to get millions and more. They know that's the only game they can do that with. But the other games, they have to put them on there. State of Decay 3 is going to come to PlayStation and Steam. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah. And I think they're going to try to get as many games on Switch too as they can as well. I mean, Capcom just announced Monster Hunter Wilds for it. And all the next-gen games. You see what I mean? So it's not like Microsoft can't put games on Switch too. No, they're going to be working on that. They need as much publishing power as possible. And to be number one in anything in gaming, like the CEO was saying, is going to have to be publishing. And in order to be a number one publisher, you need as much sales as you can possibly get. And that means multi-platform for Xbox. It's not an argument. It's exactly what's going to happen. So we kind of get some ideas here from Hunter here. Going down, Unity chat. I might use this. All right, this is funny. And by the way, guys, thank you for all the support again. Like I said, we're now on day 6 of my brother's passing. So yeah, getting through that, I feel a little bit better, but I think there's going to be a reset Monday with the funeral. We'll get to that, but I'm not going to talk too much about that. But let's get back into this. If you guys want to become a member, leave a tip down below, like, comment, subscribe as usual. But getting to this, it says their fate has officially been sealed. The whole slate is coming. Xbox games run better on PlayStation 5. You know, there's always going to be some funny memes in the world, and This is actually a really good one. J-Dub says, I have all your games. And I mean, if you take a look at what's going on at the Summer Games Fest, no matter what you see there, all games are coming to PlayStation 5, except some Steam Money Hat games, which is why I was trying to tell people don't be hypocrites, because Steam Money Hat's 24/7. They've been doing it for years, just like Sony has been doing it. Nobody's better than or lesser than anyone because of that. The only difference is Sony is giving first-party games consistently, and they share their first-party games by dropping first-party games yearly. Steam doesn't have any this year. That's why I feel like, no, man, we're not going to even get into that. Not going to make a whole separate video about that. But we saw also Guild Wars, right? We'll get to that in a second, and we'll talk about that. Oh, Slate, baby. Gears is next. Hear you. Funny stuff. Can't wait to play Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 on Xbox day one. Square said goodbye to PlayStation. Well, here's the thing. They need the money. It's not only that, it's also it's day one on Switch 2, which Final Fantasy VII sold a lot more on Switch 2 than it did on Xbox. And Rebirth is going to sell a lot more on Switch 2. It's really about Square needing as much profit as they can get. They had some cancels too. They had to re-scrap some games. Putting it on PC day one too helps. So you have these three bases. And there's nothing wrong with Xbox getting it too, because they're also paying for smart delivery. So they get that instant paycheck. Plus Switch 2 sales, plus PlayStation sales, plus Steam. And that's the way for Square here. So yeah, that's true. Sony definitely has lost that. But Square said they were going to do that a while ago. So can the comments not argue about Xbox or PlayStation 5 for like 5 minutes? LOL. Grounded 1 and 2 are fantastic games. I'm happy more players get to enjoy the fantastic Survivor game. Well, here's the thing. When they tried that only on Xbox, Grounded, what ended up happening, even with PC, the community was low on players. You need the PlayStation 5 community. This game should be announced for Switch 2 and be there as well. And you need to work on the Switch 2 aspect, because this is an audience where I feel like those type of cute type of games and fun games belong in the Nintendo worlds. You should not be having Grounded 2 coming to Switch 2. I think it's a dev kit thing that they got later, but expect Grounded 2 to also come to Switch 2. And I'm telling you right now, Microsoft's going to do it. Did Grounded 1 go to Switch? You see what I mean? It's more about this is what's available at the moment. So yeah, Microsoft will be fools not to put Grounded 2 on the Switch 2. I'm just saying. So get ready for that. PlayStation's get and rarely give. Whole slate still coming. Well, it's just that it's not going to benefit them, and they're trying to push and get prepared for the rest of the console generation to build up for the PS6. Microsoft is not pushing for next-gen hardware that's going to have a whole exclusive ecosystem. If that was the case, they would try to do it, right? Where I said that the only thing you're getting on PC now is the Xbox app, which is trying to compete with Steam, and now it's kind of similar. And then you have the Xbox Helix, the Xbox Helix S, which is a cheaper model, and then there's backwards compatibility support for Xbox Series X and S games if you still buy them on there, and you get that later on. And then it's going to go across all of them with their own handheld. They're going to try to do what Sony's doing, except Sony's not putting stuff on PC anymore. That's the only way Microsoft could do things, but that's taking a risk with your publishing, because you would have to have exclusives that are so powerful, like Halo Online multiplayer. It's going to move millions and it's lighting up the world. But guess what? Do you see games that have went past that, like Arc Raiders and Battlefield, lasting? It's tough. The shooter era is tough. They die off so fast now. Live service game. This is a no-brainer for multi-platform. But it's not just that. Halo has single player only, which it should have had multiplayer, and it's going there day and date. Fable is going there day and date. Blade is going to be going there day and date. And they haven't said anything about that. Just watch, though. I'm telling you, all the games are going there because this is just common sense. We don't need to argue about this anymore. NES says, of course, they really believe they can put their games on PlayStation to sell more and have a thriving Xbox console. They're going to find out the hard way that it isn't the case. They don't have to find out any hard way. They've been finding out. It's already been that way. This guy says Grounded 1 was on Nintendo. Odd this comes to Nintendo Switch 2. It is going to come there. No doubt about that. So that's why I said they're working on it. Get ready for that. Now going down, we have something else here. When it comes to, this is another reason why third-party games or first-party games have to go to PlayStation, because nobody wants to buy games on Xbox and the hype isn't there. Look at Resident Evil Code Veronica Remake for PlayStation in the first 3 hours. 262,000 views. Look at the Xbox. 6K views. This gives you the idea about, man, you're probably going to have to pay me. I'm not going to be able to get the support that I want to get. Guys, do you know what type of ratio that is? That's a massive ratio difference. It's something to really think about. And this is what I mean by, like, that's not a base that is trained to buy games, and that the crowd is just not there. And Resident Evil is something, and this is what I mean by like third-party support. If you don't have PlayStation's third-party support, the industry is in trouble. If you don't have Nintendo's first-party amazingness and software sales, the industry is in trouble. These two identities historically have made the gaming industry what it was over time, along with Sega too, when Sega was there as well. This type of stuff matters big time because it tells you about what's important, the balance of first party and third party between both platforms, and why your first party needs to be powerful. And how third party advertisement means a lot, because it's like, this is what's going on your market. See, that kind of feels like a dead market. This is a new Resident Evil. 6K views is terrible. I'm pretty sure PlayStation's already hit the million+ range easily. I wonder where this is at. You see, this is bad. This guy's at 6,000, like, yikes. I'm not saying it needs to be equal to or exceed PlayStation, but you'd expect there to be more hype from the Xbox fans subscribed to the YouTube channel than just 6,000. And it's a shooting game. Survival. But guess what, though? That's absolutely horrendous. They claim they'll support exclusives, but won't even show up for Resident Evil. Disgusting. No, this is what I'm saying. Like, a lot of people talk a lot, but I'm like, do you really see those results? They're not good at all. Fire Breather says, Xbox as a platform can't disappear fast enough. I mean, I don't know about that, but it just gives you the idea that the support there is not good. And they know this. And I've been telling people this. This is terrible. Blade, I swear you fanboys are getting worse and worse now, looking at YouTube views to console. Well, no, dude, it's not that. This is called a reality check here. You're a moron if you're sitting here defending this. And then you talk about views. Once again, that's like saying all you have is sales. What do you mean? You're successful. You're selling on the market. You're saying that when you look at the... I don't know. Yeah, this looks like this may be fractioned. Or maybe it's not. Okay, this is something that's actually updated 2 hours ago. If this is true, then this actually says a lot. But like I said, if this right here is true, because I don't want to be representing nothing fake. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, there we go. 29K. Code Veronica, 1.8 million. See? It's exactly what I mean. Like, that is like you're trying to advertise for an old console like the PS4 right now, or like the Xbox One, and you probably got those results. But it's like, yikes. Terrible. Yeah, that's the look to have right there. We know Resident Evil historically has its home on PlayStation, but it's like, come on, man. This is really bad. So we kind of get the idea here between third-party support, once again, between two platforms. So where, since Xbox falls off massively, are you going to make up for that third-party support? Nintendo Switch 2. Because they have an install base that supports a lot of games, and they buy physical games. They still have physical games there. And their Nintendo base is trained more than any other gaming market to buy games, because there's no service. Outside of that, you could say PlayStation and Steam, because Steam has no service where you can go like on a Game Pass or on a PlayStation Plus. It's not there. But Nintendo gamers historically, they buy games that are not sitting there. Oh yeah, this is a deep discount. Now I'm going to get it. No. They're gamers. But let me know what you guys think about this. I mean, this right here, once again, is a true statement. The difference in platforms is astonishing. This is not console one. This is the difference of results. You see what I mean? It's the same thing where it's like, PlayStation can do exclusives. Why can't Xbox do exclusives? We're kind of looking at a field here again where it's like, this is why, because this is how many copies I would sell. And this is why Microsoft hides their numbers and they're not honest with you when they should be more honest with you. Don't lie and tell me they shouldn't be. You should be shown everything because you already know anyways. Look at VG charts. They tell you stuff all the time. Look at NPDs from Matt Piscatello. Look at what Christopher Drink says from Europe sales. Look at what Japan says. Numbers are terrible, and they don't hide anything. But Microsoft's not going to tell you anything, but it ends up coming out anyway. So why hide it? This is a thing here that I don't get. So we got our answers here once again when it comes to proof about things. Like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you guys think. Become a member, like I said, if you want to. I appreciate that. Later, y'all. Keep on gaming no matter what platform you're on.